Hi, I'm starting my series on how do we have little things or do little things well that will make big differences in the sale of your property and ultimately the money that you get from your property. Today, I'm going to be talking about access and how important it is. Let's start first with a principle. And the principle is this: the shorter notice that we can give you, the more showings that we're going to get, and the more showings that we get, the more offers we'll have and the greater the price that you will have. So as a background, we'll use that theorem to guide how we make choices on how we give access. So first of all, let's talk about whether you should be there or not. Absolutely not. The reason you're not there is, first of all, we have to coordinate with you. But second of all, a buyer will not get comfortable with your home if you're there. And we want the buyer comfortable with your home because when they're comfortable, they fall in love with it and then they make offers. Secondly, should I be there? Now, there are some brokers in town that pride themselves on being at every single showing. And my experience has been you lose showings when you have to coordinate with your agent being there. All right? And let me paint a picture. If we have a lockbox on a property and we can get someone in on a moment's notice, then the buyer's agent and their buyer only need to coordinate. All right? If they need to coordinate with me, that's one more schedule we have to make work. And I can tell you, there are some agents in town that I've tried to show their listings, and as an example, I would say to them, may I show your listing tomorrow at 2 o'clock? That's a time my buyer has picked to be able to see it, that works for them. And I have had agents say, I'm so sorry, I'm booked. Can you do it the next day or the following day? In my experience, buyers aren't willing to wait to see properties, generally speaking. They may be in town for a few days, and if we can't accommodate that first request, the percentages go down for getting them in another day. So we want quick, easy access to your property without me having to be there. Secondly, we want to get a lockbox on the property because that means the keys are at the property. And if I can call you up and say, we have someone that wants to see it in the next half an hour, and if we can accommodate them, we get more showings. It's that simple. More showings equal more offers, equal higher prices for you. Now comes the question of a tenant. In a perfect world, we want the unit vacant. So if you have a tenant and you're considering, should I make it vacant or should I keep the tenant? If you can afford to do so, wait until the tenant moves out because, again, we'll get more showings. The property generally will show better and we can show it faster, and all of that adds up to more money for you. If we have to work around a tenant, if they hold our feet to the fire, and I've had to do this before, we have to give them 48 hours notice. Today it's 10 o'clock in the morning, so 48 hours from now is 10 o'clock in the morning or later 2 days from now. I was working on setting up showings last night for 8 o'clock this morning. Got a showing request at 6 o'clock, wanted to show at 8 o'clock this morning. About 14 hours, right, overnight. If we have a tenant, I do my best to negotiate access overnight. Generally speaking, that's the best we can do. There are also incentives that we can offer the tenant to incentivize them to let us come in on shorter notice. I'm not going to go into how we structure those today, but certainly we can create incentives for the tenant to let us in. And sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. The other challenge, and this is a bonus thought with having a tenant there, is many times while the tenant is there, they will tell the buyer about every possible thing that's wrong with the unit, and they end up scaring off the buyers. Another reason not to have a tenant there. Anyway, the long and the short of this video is, if you want to get the most money, access is key. Shorter notice showings lead to more showings, lead to more offers, and ultimately lead to the highest price for you. So if you'd like to correspond or contact with me, I'd love to chat with you any way that you choose to do so: text, phone, email. If you have any other specific questions, let me know and I'll answer them on these videos. In the meantime, you have a great day.